Hello everybody, I'm coming to you today with a deck review. This is the Anatomy of Healing by Fran Cieślar. I'm not sure if I'm saying the name correctly, I'm sorry. So Fran reached out to me at the beginning of this month to ask if I would be curious about this deck and if I would like to review it and share my honest review of it with you guys. And I said yes, because this is something that's right up my alley. I know this is maybe not something that I talk about a lot, especially not on here on YouTube, but other than being a folk witch and sharing about Polish folklore and witchcraft, I am also a psychologist and I am also trained in various modalities that have to do with treating the body through relaxation or somatic techniques. So a deck like this, which you will see in a moment what all of this is about, is just something perfect for me personally, and also just seeing how she combined these ideas with emotions stuck in the body and specific parts of the body, and really masterfully kind of encompassed that all within the guidebook of this deck. It's good stuff, okay? So I'm here to talk to you about the deck, share my honest thoughts. I've been working with it for almost a month now, so I think I know enough about the deck. I got to know it enough to be able to share a more in-depth opinion. So anyway, it comes in a sturdy box like this. When you open it up, you get a booklet, and this is something that honestly I fucking love, this kind of aesthetic. If you look inside, there's pages in multiple colors. The thing is that the deck has 40 cards. They portray various organs inside our body, and there's various categories. So it's divided into inner organs, outer organs, reproductive organs, bones and muscles, and the circulatory system. And for each of those categories, you get kind of like a different colored bead in the book, right? So the entire aesthetic of it, the way it's set up, the book, it just looks like this kind of old school zine style aesthetic, and I am crazy about it. I love this kind of stuff. Like, you get all of these beautiful illustrations, then some like funky fonts and stuff, and then the descriptions of each of the organs themselves. So I absolutely love the guidebook, and I feel like the descriptions are just, you know, short and sweet and to the point, and actually making you ponder some things, consider some things, maybe check in with yourself, check in with the body, take a moment to feel into how a certain body part is feeling for you at this moment, and if any emotions are perhaps stored in there and waiting to be taken care of, right? So the booklet goes into detail about that, and I feel like the way the cards are described, the organs are described, gives just enough detail to go off of. It's not either too wordy, but it's not shallow in any way either. It's just the perfect amount of text that I personally like to work with when I work with oracle decks. But moving on from the booklet, I would like to read to you a bit from what Fran, the creator of the deck, says about the deck itself and what was her intention for publishing the deck. So I'm just going to read for you directly from the review kit that I received, because I feel like it's important to give the voice to the creator themselves when it comes to why they create what they create and what they had in mind and what's the meaning for them behind all of this. So Fran says, what is the Anatomy of Healing? The Anatomy of Healing is a 40-card oracle deck for self-discovery. It serves you like an emotional treasure map and dives deeply into the secrets of your body and reveals where we might have stored emotions that may mess with our health. It's a gentle, beginner-friendly tool designed to help you connect, reflect, heal, and capture how your emotions influence your well-being. No prior knowledge needed. It invites you to look at yourself and explore what's hidden beneath the surface, plus helps you focus on what your body wants to tell you. Since we all know which huge impact stress, worries and fears can have on us, the Anatomy of Healing offers us to explore our inner landscapes and to get to know ourselves better. So I feel like that pretty much captures what the deck is about. So now let's move on to actually looking at the cards. And I put them back in order just for this. So we start with the heart, and at the bottom you also have like a short and sweet message, which I think is cool for decks like this, because I know not everybody likes to be dependent on the guidebook when using their decks. So this is nice for those kinds of people. So the heart, the core of my being, then the throat, lump in my throat, lungs, between two lungs, thyroid, shine bright, brain, change my mind, lymph nodes, inner defense, thymus gland, seat of the soul, stomach, digesting life, liver, don't look back in anger. And now I will just flip through the rest without reading the titles. You can pause if you want to do that, because I would like to talk about the cards themselves as well. So I absolutely love this type of artwork. Like, I am a huge fan of dot work, of just black and white art, of line work like this, and also of anatomical drawings and of plants. So this is like all of the things I like the most, and also this like kind of vintagey feel where the card, it's not white, it's actually more like beige, right? So it just matches the aesthetic of the decks I usually reach for personally. Of course, everybody has different needs in this regard, so this is just something that really works for me personally, and I absolutely love this. And as you can see, for each card you actually get the organ itself, and it's kind of connected with, intertwined with various plants. And when it comes to the plants, they are not named in the guidebook. The only thing that the guidebook actually is focusing on is the organ itself, is the body part itself. So the plants, I suppose, are more decorative. The only thing I wish, but I know this would be like a huge endeavor to actually do something like this for the creator, but it would be great if the plants also were like, for example, plants that are traditionally used to aid for healing with certain body parts, right? Like, I don't know, here we have an eye. The keywords is I can see clearly now. It would be kind of cool, you know, to have a plant like, for example, blueberry, that is known to help with the health of your eyes and your eyesight, right? That would be amazing. But even though that's not the case here, I have found that the deck actually works great for me, because I can combine it with decks that are plant decks, which I'm going to talk at the very end about decks that I have worked with in conjunction with this deck, and I think they work great together if you would like to get some inspo for that. But yeah, the plants themselves are not really mentioned, which is which in the cards, so just so you know. But it's not really needed. I feel like the descriptions themselves are focusing more on what the body part or the organ, what's its function in your organism, what it does for you, what functions it sustains, as well as what kind of emotions can be stored within that body part or within that organ. And then also it gives you like a bit to ponder on, which is often in the form of questions or prompts that you can journal about, or even pull more cards about, to check in with that part of yourself, with those emotions that are related to that organ. And I feel like that's enough, honestly, perhaps if there were also plants involved, this would get too complex, if you know what I mean, because sometimes oracles, because of their complexity, can end up being an overkill. And personally, I mostly work with the kind of oracles that are simple, to the point, focusing on one thing. So because I also work with plants a lot in my practice, that's something that wouldn't be too much for me, but I can totally see how it would be too much for people who don't really care about plants that much. So I think this works perfectly, and my idea, I suppose, or opinion of, you know, adding the plants in here that would be working for each of the organs, that's just like personal preference and not a criticism of the deck itself. So that's it. That's the 40th card, standing for aorta, which is blood flow. Here's the back of the cards. It's very simple. I love this. I'm not sure if it's like more blue or more on the violet side. To me, it's like very cold pastel violet color. And I really love this. This is simple, it's not reversible, it doesn't have anything fancy, it just says what it is, and it gives the deck this kind of minimalistic look to it. But what I really want to talk about when it comes to the construction of the deck is the cardstock itself, because honestly, this is the first deck that I own that's made of this type of cardstock. I know that Fran is very kind of environmentally conscious, and she mentions that the deck is printed in Europe, and she's working with printers who do care about the environment and their carbon footprint, which I think is amazing. But the cardstock itself, I think it's 400 GSM if I remember correctly, but the texture of it, I've never had cardstock like this, and I'm in love. Like, I don't know what type of cardstock this is exactly, but the thing with this is that it's, you know, like very thin and flexible. You might think, looking at it here, that it's flimsy, but the thing is that it's not. It has like this weight to it. I don't know how to explain it, but just like feels like very pleasantly heavy in your hand. Like it has this, like the core has something heavier to it. Do you know what I mean? It's really strange, but I absolutely fell in love with it. It feels so good quality, like such a good quality, honestly. So yeah, love the cardstock. And because I worked with the cards a lot already, I noticed that if the light hits the cards just the right way, you can kind of see as if the printing itself was like raised almost. It feels like it's a little bit 3D. I don't know if I'm making this up. I don't know if you can see this at all. Let me maybe... Can you see this? Is this visible on camera? I'm not sure. Maybe it is. But if you can see this, I hope so, then you can kind of see how good quality the cardstock is. And normally I'm the kind of person who does not care about cardstock that much. I prefer flimsy decks that shuffle well. I hate decks with very like thick cardstock, matte cardstock that's not possible to shuffle. But this is something like I didn't know I could have a preference for something like this, because I didn't know something like this even existed, you know? So I am just like, it's so pleasant to handle the deck. It's such a nice tactile experience. I'm you know, flipping some cards and showing you this glare to show you how it kind of feels like embossed or raised or something. I hope you can see this. It's just such a beautiful deck. Again, 40 cards with organs. And the way I use this personally is just I like to pull one card per day. at the beginning of the day to see which part of my body I should focus on, where I should direct my awareness this day. And I feel it's great for just mindfulness practice and for checking in with the body. I feel like for me, when I'm stressed or burnt out or exhausted, I tend to kind of dissociate and not pay attention to my body. And that's when my body stores a lot of tension, a lot of pain, stress, you know, all that kind of yucky stuff. So this deck is really helpful for me to actually take the time to you know, check in with myself. And as I've been using it the past month, it really became this loved companion in checking in with myself. I'm not sure if I would be using this deck personally for divination or fortune telling. I think for me, this is more the kind of deck that you use for like mindfulness practice, for self-care, for healing, you know, so kind of more inner work stuff rather than divination, prediction, fortune telling. But perhaps if there are people out there who do more like predictive stuff that has to do with, I don't know, illnesses or whatever for themselves, then maybe this could work. I don't know. I don't really venture in that kind of territory when it comes to my readings. So yeah, that's the deck. And now just lastly, let me show you what this can look like with some other decks. I just chose a few. So first and foremost, I think it looks great with Memento Mori Oracle. As you can see, they are kind of similar aesthetics, the kind of antiqued beige background, the kind of mostly black and white line work, and very minimalistic design in general. Let me just flip through a few cards here. But you get the idea. I think they work great together, and just reading with them, mostly just like this one for checking in with the body, and then this one for giving me tools to do something with that, you know. It's been great. And I love how some of these cards just like to mirror each other with the designs and the composition itself. So it works great with this one. It also, in my opinion, works great with the Venelestis Botanical Oracle, which is a plant deck. So this one is also very minimalistic. Let me just, yeah, so if you can see, this one has slightly more intense colors, but still in the kind of more, you know, vintagey, beige, yellowy range and minimalistic. So I think those two work great together as well. And I've been pulling from both, so like from the Anatomy of Healing to check in with the body, and then this one to add like a plant ally for the day to aid with that part of my body, you know? So that's what I've been doing with these two together. And when it comes to tarot, I've been pairing the Anatomy of Healing with the old style tarot, which again you can kind of see that the aesthetics match. The tarot is of course more colorful than the Anatomy of Healing, but I found that they work so great together. So again, some days I would just pull like one card from the Anatomy of Healing and then a support card from tarot to go further off of that body check-in itself. And I found that it works great as well. I like finding pairs like this of decks that really work great together, and the way I can usually recognize it is that the pull I get from the two decks together is just so spot on, the messages speaking about the exact same thing. That's when I know that the decks are meant to be worked with together. And these two definitely do that. And the same with the plant deck I just showed you, and the same with Memento Mori. So these are some of my picks. I know that this is something that's very personal and not gonna work the same way for everybody, but I'm sharing this for inspo in case you are curious about the pairings. So the Anatomy of Healing deck is about to be launched for another Kickstarter campaign to actually reprint the deck for a second edition. The first edition is out of print now, and the Kickstarter starts in 2 days from today. Today is the 25th. It starts on the 27th of June. So I'm going to link everything below. You can check out the link to the Kickstarter campaign, and if you are watching this before it's launched, you can click like a heart and get notifications when the campaign actually launches. And if you are watching this past the 27th of June, then the campaign is already live and you can go and support the creator. So I think it's worth it, honestly. I've been really digging this deck and I'm very picky about my decks, okay? So I think this is a keeper for sure. As I said, I love the cardstock. I love that it's also, other than being just great quality, being eco-friendly, and I love that the creator put so much work and effort into creating the whole thing, complete with the guidebook that just looks like a beautiful old school zine. It's just so good, honestly. Like, it's such a pleasure to be working with it on a kind of visual aesthetic level, as well as just being able to check in with the body and feel taken care of, you know. It's really nice, a nice sweet deck. So that's my thoughts. Thank you so much for sharing. If you like the deck, go check out the Kickstarter. Make sure to support the artist. I'm also going to link all of their socials and stuff below, so check that out. Thank you so much for watching and see you around. Bye.